Testing. This is a live stream. I'm going to be checking to see that this is going through okay. And for those that don't know, this is Karen. So I'm just going to be okay. It looks like it's going well. Alright, now this is actually a live stream. As you can see, it's to do with our quick readings tonight. So that way you can see that none of this is cherry picked. I'm not, looking at anyone's profiles. It's going to be done as a way of random selection. So those names that do pop up with their date of birth, I'm just going to copy and paste those in. Oh, wrong one. I'll just bring it up. Hang on, I've copied them. Why isn't it pasting? Okay, give me a second. Copy. Paste. There we go. We've got all the names who have entered tonight's random reading. So I hope that I'm going to be seeing you also online here watching this, and fingers crossed we're also going to have it record. So I would recommend for those who are watching, just in case we have a situation where this does not save in a video, please make a note. Please make a note of what comes up on the actual message if your name is drawn out of this auto pick. And I'd like to state also, just for the record, that we have had a reach of over 5,158 people on Facebook with this. There have been 42 that kindly shared this post, and there were 153 people who entered to put their name and date of birth down. So thank you very much for being so proactive. So let's have a look now at I just want to make sure that I'm okay. So we've got a few on already, so thank you for joining. Renee, Maria Moak, Auntie Charlie, Dane Spinks, and Veronica Doricopoulos. Thank you so much for joining. I will try to look at your comments, but please understand I'll need to concentrate, so I may not be able to reply to everybody. Okay, now firstly, what I'm going to start off with is drawing a name. So as you can see, my little mouse is moving across. And the first one up is Tasha Marie Fox, who was born the 15th of June 1979. Now let me just have a look at something here. I'm just going to 1979. First of all, I want to have a look at something with the date. So where are we? 15th of the 6th. Alright, so you're actually in your second life, Tasha, and let me say that you're actually ruled by the planet Venus. So one good thing is you'll probably find Wednesdays are your lucky days. And anything when you're wearing like a light shade of grey, not 50 shades of grey, will be perfect for you against your colouring. And the lucky stones that I would say for you would be topaz and agate. And I'll throw in some lucky numbers here. Firstly, you're coming into your first lucky month, being the third month being March. The 6th month will be your lucky month, and also the 12th month. So that's great. So let's have a look here. And I'm going to just, oh God. Okay, now I've got that wrong. All right, so Your lucky months are February and July. Sorry, you're in your lucky months. I knew there was something around it close. And your lucky days are Monday and Friday, and blues and pinks are lucky colors for you. So I'll throw in some lucky numbers. So if you want to pop these down, Tasha, it's 2, 7, 22, 16 and 25, and your lucky stone is obviously the diamond. Now I'm going to have a look in your numbers now. So here you're in your second life, which means you've only lived once before, and I've had a big sort of like discussion about how we reincarnate. We don't fully reincarnate, so I will talk about that later on. Now I'm going to work out the path you're on this year. This gives you an understanding of how and why things happen, so it better prepares you. 9, 10. Okay, so this year is very important for you to watch your health. I do get the connection also with hospitals. I do get the connection also with needing to recover and recuperate from things. What I'm going to do very quickly, Tasha, because it's a random quick reading, I'm going to do a very quick tarot. I'm going to ask Spirit to come through and tell me what Tasha Marie Fox, and normally I don't use their full name because I don't get it, the 15th of June 1979, what is in store for Tasha Marie Fox? What's going on in her life? Now hopefully this is your real name. Keep in mind also that whenever you have a reading, always leave a gap of 3 to the maximum of 6 months between your readings to avoid contamination, where the reading itself begins to merge in with the other one. You don't want readings following on from where the last one left off. So to avoid that, it's best to give a space of 3 to 6 months. Otherwise you're going to find yourself very confused with whatever comes up in readings. Now let's have a look around your present here. I do feel that there is, okay, this is interesting because this is a time in your life where I'm seeing a focus on the feminine qualities. I feel as though there's love in the picture, but there also seems to be insecurities there. I feel, if anything, it's like that, you know, when a person feels trapped, they feel stuck in a situation they can't get out of, so they usually tend to put up with things and just to keep the peace. I feel like also you're having to watch your money. Another thing that's showing me is, wow, you've had a bit of a tense time. I'm seeing an end. I won't go too much into it, but I feel like you know what I'm talking about here. Don't get into headbutts with people. Overall, I feel like you've wanted to do your own thing. There's a big transition that is happening in your path at the moment. It's going to have its effects for probably about 2 months. You might even find that things are on hold for that period of time, where you're just not going in any direction backwards or forwards. It's just, okay, I'm in limbo. Where do I go from here? I'm going to have a look now in a little bit more depth of the reading itself. So Spirit, tell me what's happening with Tasha Marie Fox, born the 15th of June 1979. Okay, Tasha. All right, let's have a look here. First thing on your mind that I'm seeing here is something to do with a connection with a male. The interesting thing with this person, they seem to be very dogmatic, a very strong personality is what I would pick up here. The kind of person who may or may not be very pleasant with the way that they speak. So to me, it's sometimes a narcissistic type of mannerism is what I sense through this. The other thing I feel here is connections with trust issues. This seems to be very much crossing your path and upon you at the moment. So as I'm looking into the cards, I'm getting the connection with needing to look at things for what they really are. If you have been what I would call having the wool pulled over your eyes by somebody, I feel this to be a male in particular. I'm feeling like there's a need to be cautious. You might even be taking some challenges that are upon you, and you might even be looking at conflict in what I've sensed to be a relationship type of manner. But I actually feel that this is something that seems to reveal itself. Whatever you've gone through already, it presents itself, and you may be going through that at the present, as in, you know, your past is dictating what this is going to be like. So it's like an ongoing thing, the constant battle there. You are carrying a lot of burden. I feel like you put this on yourself for some reason, so I don't know whether this is making sense to you at the moment, but to me, it's when a person begins to overburden themselves. They feel like they've got to take on the weight of the world on their shoulders. But I feel like this is something that you have control over. No one's putting this responsibility on yourself but you. So try to sort of ease up there. You're wanting to move forward. Spirit's telling me that you are wanting to let go of that past and just sort of move away from it. You're losing interest in things. I feel like I've had enough. It's that kind of feeling that I sense around you. Now, the other thing I'm picking up here is there's communication with somebody. And I know this sounds very random, but I'm trying to be as quick as I can with the readings because I want to get through as many as I can. To me, it's like talking about ambitions. I'm feeling this to be between the 21st of March and the 30th of March in particular. Partnerships, financial gain, promotions, discussions about, you know, moving forward. I feel like you're an independent type of person, but this is a great time for you because, believe it or not, you're already finding that you have that world in your hands. You can do whatever you put your mind to, but you seem to be a little insecure or worrying, and this might be where you're putting on that extra responsibility. Now, don't be surprised. Okay, I'm seeing a male. The male's definitely strong around you there, but I'm getting a lot of hard work. And in your environment, it's like, you know, you work, and feeling like you're not getting anywhere. Now, this work can not only be a physical thing, it could be a mental exhaustion. And I do feel like you are going to be finding that, okay, yes, Spirit, okay, they're telling me go back to the relationship, Karen. All right, so this must be in relation to why you are beginning to feel different, because there's something about a partner around you. I don't know whether you're worried about them coming or going. This is so weird because I'm getting the transition. There's something to do with the transition of a relationship. I feel like you may be finding yourself coming into a moment where you have to lay all the cards on the table and settle something once and for all, because there is tension. There is going to be something that begins what I see to be a huge argument. I'm going to see if I can see when this will happen. Oh, they're telling me in about a week. Okay, so you've got 1 week around this, but it might actually clear the air with things. It might bring into the light the attitudes. I feel like there's a mistake that is made, or you're making the mistake, or this person's making a mistake. It's to do with the mistake, and this mistake may have already happened because I'm getting January around it, so it's very recent. Whatever accusation's been made, whatever scenario has developed there, you've got to put it right, and I feel it's in your hands. So you can move past this, you can work towards things. And interesting enough, even when this turns up, sometimes it's what we hold on to as a grudge with someone else that's been in our life. We might be using that in our current relationships. It might be dictating the way that relationship is working out for you at the present. So I'll leave that with you. Okay, so let's have a look. I'm going to go in and select another. Waiting. Janetta Johnny Summerall. Well, that's a long one. All right. So let's put these cards back together, and I'm going to clear them because I don't want any previous information coming through. It can be very easy to have that happen if you don't clear your cards. It's sort of like, you know, getting rid of the energies so that you've got a new focus here. All right. And just to let everyone know, the admin have got an early mark because they've been sitting there taking down all the names and dates of births that were entered, so there's no point in them being on as far as I'm concerned. So just so you know, if anyone does try to message, I don't know, you're not going to get any answer, I don't think, unless they're sitting by. All right, now let's have a look at this person. So Janetta, who is born the 21st of March 1961. All right, now you're Janetta, born into your fifth life. It is probably not one of the greatest paths to be born into, because usually I find that people do come into circumstances that are, you know, beyond their control, if you want to put it that way. I'm getting people in the family that are very either at each other. It's like a war going on, being born in a war type of situation. This year I'm going to focus on for you, because I do get that needing to again, I'm getting this sorting things out. Let's have a look and see. I just want to have a very quick bo peep at your, where are we, March the 21st. I want to have a look at what I did with the other one. It's focusing on 21st of March 1961. Okay, so let's have a look at your controller. And you're controlled by the sun. Interesting. So your lucky month, Janetta, will be May. Blues and greys are really good for you. They're your lucky colors. Sapphire, of course, being your lucky stone. So if you haven't got one, grab one. Pay for it, of course. Your lucky days are actually Sunday, and your lucky numbers are 5, 14 and 23. One thing I find with those that are ruled by the sun, or controlled by the sun, I should say, not ruled, their influence, it's like they're destined to play an important part. So these people who are ruled or controlled, I should say, by the sun are very different to others, from others. They've got a lot of independence about them. They've got that, it's like they're proud. They're very proud individuals, but it's because of their independence, and their nature is to guide people. It's to sort of bring some type of influence into other people's lives. The problem though, Janetta, is because your birth number is influenced by the 5, it can be very dominating. And one thing that I find those born in their 5th life need to do is control their temper. They might find themselves getting frustrated with things very easily because they want to be the leader. They want to be in control. So let's have a look now with Janetta, what comes. I'm just going to see if there's any comments there that I'm missing. Okay, there's a lot of A lot of things going through, but I can't see them all. This silly... Oh, I hate phones. I'm sorry if it's dropping out. I have really no control. Let me see if I can... try and... I had Class Dojo open for my daughter's school. Okay, so that might be what's... Oh, and I had Prisoner. Let's close that. Prisoner. Oh goodness, now all my secrets are revealed. Okay, so Janetta, I'm going to concentrate on you. Now, even if it does drop out, don't worry, the actual recording itself should be fine. So watch it again if your name gets drawn out. Remember, this is a random name pick, so I have no control whose name comes out of this. And so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to ask Spirit to tell me, what is Janetta Johnny Summerell? I'm assuming these are two different people. Janetta, the 21st of March 1961. Tell me what's happening and what does Janetta need to know in her life right now. Okay, so what I'm seeing here, Janetta, is, ooh, this is interesting. I'm actually seeing a housewarming around you and change to work. I'm actually getting a feeling of 1 month connected with this. There's also a new opportunity to travel. I'm actually getting this to be connecting with someone from a distance. So to me, it's across land, it's not across water, it's definitely across land. But I also see here, let me just have a look at something else. 7 and 5. Okay, so just as I expected, I am picking up here new beginnings. So with this, you do have the opportunity of discussion about a new location. I'm seeing going out of one thing into something else in relation to a better situation financially. You might be watching where you're spending at the moment, because I get money in dribs and drabs, but I feel this is about to change. It's either something being offered to you or getting getting a new opportunity to go into something completely different. But I see some connection with traveling. I see a male. He has dark hair. He's not very old, but he may be graying at the temples. I do feel that there's like a link also with moving about and driving. It's like a lot of driving in between two places, so it's going back and forward. I'm going to have a look at what comes through the cards. So once again, if anyone is experiencing any dropouts and so on, probably better to just try to refresh the screen. I do use Wi-Fi, so this might be another reason behind these things, but with these live streams you always get something freezing. So Janetta Summerell, 21st of March 1961. Alright, now what I'm actually being shown here, Janetta, and I hope that's I'm saying your name correctly. There appears to be with you a healing that is required. Now sometimes we go through things in our life that make us feel withdrawn. It could be needing your own solitude to think things over, because I get a need to listen to your own intuition, possibly even follow medical advice. It may be a doctor or someone who is saying to you, you need to take some rest. It could even be the fact that you may be doing too much, where you need to actually control that impulse to overexert yourself. Okay, now guys, I am seeing there's about 20 something comments there, but they're for some reason not showing up on my phone, which is typical. I have a really crappy phone. But thank you for everyone who's, you know, being a part of this. Now, what's interesting here is I get that feeling of being pulled in 20 different directions, like a team of horses, the way I describe it. You've got one team of horses pulling one arm in one way, and you've got another team of horses pulling you in another direction. I feel like you're at the mercy of others. What's also being shown to me is new money, new influence of money. This is coming into your path. It is beginning to cross your path. Be aware also that it may be a warning to you to just slow down, because it's like you've got that green light on and you're going forward with things. I don't know whether you're putting applications out, because I'm seeing papers now and writing things down. So there's something to do with paperwork, but I feel like it's a typed out thing, like a form, and having to put your signature and fill in. So I don't know what this is connected with. I'm just getting a vision. I've got to pass it on. There's a lot of worry around you, and it's like feeling, if I'm to use the word feeling broken, that would be my way of describing this. It's like a blockage, a feeling of being unable to know whether you're being able to deal with something. Now, I don't know whether you go through bouts of depression. This might be where I'm getting that, you know, being pulled in 20 different directions kind of thing. But I feel like you need to talk to somebody. Whatever this difficulty is that you've been shouldering, it is going to lift from you. I'm actually getting this vision of, you know, things being alleviated, having things resolve themselves. But at the moment, it's time for you to listen to advice. Don't try to do everything on your own, because I feel like you've got that stubbornness around you where you want to take control of things, but not having control worries you. Now, listen to your gut instincts as well. Okay, I'm also hearing a female, so I don't know whether there's someone who has been recently passed around you who is a female. It doesn't mean that just because I hear a female as I'm doing a reading, they're there for that person. Unless they say something and it's because it's a quick reading, I can't spend time sitting there communicating with the dead. Here, I feel like there is a spiritual guidance that's coming through. It may be that they're just trying to help me with you because of everything that's been going on. But I feel like there's going to be new changes. Don't be surprised if this situation you're in resolves itself by itself. I feel like there's a lot of movement, a lot of motion going on. I'm also seeing a territorial battle. I don't know whether you've got people coming to stay with you for a short time to help you out, but to me it gives that kind of impression of a territorial battle where you just feel like you can't relax. But don't be surprised if this also brings with that exciting news. It's like whatever has been going on around you at the moment, it's like that breaks that monotony. It might even be a discomfort from some way, and that's where I get that territorial battle, because it's like you can't relax in your own environment, or you can't do the things you want to do because other people are around, like walking around in your underwear. If you want to do that, I don't know, each to their own. Another thing I'm picking up here is you seem to be very guarded. It's like you don't want to get to a squabble with anyone, but I feel like it's important for you to understand that there may be an unrealistic attitude that is being created. It could be that you have to assess your expectations, and this might help you move past any type of conflict that is going on, because I feel like you are just getting yourself into the emotional and mental rut, if I'm to use that expression. But I do feel like there's going to be victory. I feel like you're going to get past this, and the timing, I would say, would be about May, June. So I'm seeing in between those months, May, June, things will begin to alleviate. You'll get an opportunity of just, you know, letting your hair down and relaxing. But I feel like at the moment there's a lot of the roller coaster effect is what I pick up. So I hope that's made sense for you. And I'm going to put the cards back together. I'm going to then pick another. Charlene Donnelly, the 30th of May 1975. So let's have a look. 30th of May 1975. Well, this should be interesting. I've got a feeling you're in your third life. Let me double check it. Yes, you are. So you're what I call the party person, the person who is their own worst enemy, but where there is a good time, they want to have it. I actually see you to be controlled by Mercury, and when I see the Mercury personalities, boy oh boy, they are the ones that are like they're very forward. There's no in between. They're either hot or cold, or they're off or on. The Mercury personality, I actually feel, is they want to acquire things straight away. They have no patience. They are very fond of rich colors. They like the unusual type of things. They also go for you know, it's like whatever is what another person will not like, they will like. They're opposites. They can be very quarrelsome, and yet I feel in some way it's like they get into at times a lazy type of attitude. It's like, I'll do whatever I want without you telling me what to do. But overall they are very strong-willed, and they can be very competitive, especially when they come into contact with people who are very similar in personality. It's like clashing, lots of clashing going on there. Let's have a look what's happening this year. All right, so you might find this year, Charlene, that there are going to be people coming in and out of your life. The other thing I'm actually seeing here is a opportunity for you to start making plans for a new beginning and a new path that ventures into 2018. This year in particular, you're going to be feeling like, you know, it's time to close the door on people or on things that you were familiar with. Sometimes people get rid of things, doing that spring clean, getting rid of the things that they had once felt connected to, no longer feeling like they want to these things in their life. They've lost interest. They're moving on. And I feel like with Charlene, there's that moving on type of situation happening. Don't be surprised also, Charlene, if you are getting friends going off into different directions. I get one particular situation that is going to be a celebration. This may be a birth, wedding, or some type of event that brings a lot of people together, and it's a big event. I feel like it's nothing small. So I feel like there's a lot of happiness around, a lot of people celebrating, and at the same time you seem to be like, okay, why are they looking at me? Because they're talking about me. I feel like there's a little bit of paranoia that comes in. So you may become more sensitive to things this year. Don't be hard on yourself. Know that it isn't just a case of, like, I mean, I'm not saying they are, but it's not a case of people talking behind your back. But it's a case of needing to reevaluate the company you keep. So you might be starting to have different types of feelings towards things, people, things that you were attached to, as I mentioned. And also, if you feel like you're not reaching your goals, don't worry. You'll reach them. They're just going to take a little longer. Now I'm going to have a look at what the cards say for Charlene. So let's have a look here. Alrighty. Oh goodness, there's so many people that are writing. Hi all. Hi Amanda Davison, Diane McPhee, Vella, Samantha Jenkins, Nicole Brandon. Hello everybody. Thank you for joining. And once again, if there are any dropouts, not my fault. Not my fault. Okay, so Charlene Donnelly, 30th of May 1975. Spirit, tell me what is happening and what Charlene needs to know. Alrighty. Oh, okay. Well, we are actually focused here on partnerships. I see discussions about things. I'm also getting a connection with a female who may be needing some type of attention in relation to care. I don't know whether this is medical care, medical attention. I'm seeing partnership. As I mentioned, I feel as though I've got a decision that is weighing upon you, and being realistic about relationships and also work situations. So focus on what is most important at this time. I am also seeing a stronger position entering your path. I'm getting a connection with, oh goodness, there's so much tension going on around people. But I feel like there's going to be some making up after a petty quarrel or tiff. So if there is a potential of someone being wrong, know that you can be wrong also. So this is the bit of information that's coming through. Now, if you can hear any shh kind of noise, that is my computer running this program, which links to both the Wi-Fi for this thing that allows me to use it on Wi-Fi to connect to, and I probably, because I've got all this stuff in the background with the artwork, which might be slowing it down. I don't know, but I'm not going to blame myself for the dropouts. Okay, concentrating. Charlene Donnelly, 30th of May 1975. What is it, Spirit, you need to tell Charlene? So let's have a look here. I gave it a really good shuffle. Okay. So the great thing about this, Charlene, is the Spirit are talking about you having a new type of outlook, having an opportunity to rejoice in things. Sometimes what we feel is going wrong in our life is actually going right. They're talking about new opportunities for relationships, friendships, and this has the potential of leading you to a happy place. Don't give up is the message that they're speaking of. And what's interesting, as I mentioned, you're ruled by Mercury, so you're not going to give up anyway. I do see new beginnings around you. I'm also getting new beginnings within the family, and this can be the birth sign that turns up here, because I've actually got that birth sign which is coming through the cards, and it's also telling you make something new, make some new opportunity for yourself. Be focused on the new phase of life that you've got around you in some way. You might even need to look at new projects, but I feel like there's a lot of connection that's coming up around either an Aries, Leo or Sagittarian fire sign. So I don't know who the fire sign is around you or where that connection comes through. Let me see here. This is interesting because I'm actually seeing that with you. Okay, so I am definitely getting new beginnings, and as I said just before this, I'm seeing new opportunities, new beginnings. I'm feeling like the light shining on every dark corner of my life. So it's like a lot of revelation, which is interesting considering you are going through that path this year, which is going to be cleaning out the closet. So this might be in some way where spirit are guiding me through that connection. So you're going to transcend. I'm actually feeling you're going past whatever is happening around you at the present. So yes, the next card up I've actually got here is actually telling me you're moving in a new direction, and this might not include people that you're familiar with. You've got your own definite thoughts, your own attitudes. You're leaving things behind. I feel like there's that progress. It's like leaving, going, experiencing new things, travel in distant places. And this may be either mentally traveling, like escaping through daydreaming, or just trying to put together some type of new direction for yourself. Okay, now I do see, wow, you're signing things soon as well, because I'm actually seeing, excuse me, I've got a text message coming through. I am seeing new beginnings, and I'm seeing signature on forms, so just bear with me. Don't interrupt. Okay, sorry about that. Okay, going back to this particular passage, okay, now I see why things are going as they are. There appears to have been, what I'm sensing, a emotional battle. To me, I'm getting that it's like, to me, the fury is what's showing through the cards at the present. This may have been between the 20th and 29th of January, but it may still be in effect around you in some form, because it's that feeling of, why are people trying to pick arguments? If this is you, as an example, you've got to move past that. If you're getting invited to an argument, don't accept. Refuse the invitation, in other words, because I definitely get that feeling of needing to move forward, moving past all the crap that's going on in your life in some form. But I feel like you've got new beginnings, new opportunities that are developing. Okay. Emotional pain, emotional scars. I feel like you may be focused on like a reconciliation, making peace. This is the type of image that's coming to me. So I feel like you will have an opportunity to discuss things. You may be the one who is wanting to make peace, but there may be someone around you who's just being difficult. I get that, as I said, that wanting to start an argument, or wanting to pick a fight, that type of thing. You might have a great opportunity of restoring some harmony by about June, July. So I'm seeing late June to the beginning of July there. All right, again, in relation to your environment, whatever the environment is having this impact, I feel there's a great deal of restlessness. To me, it's a lot of worry over things, emotionally worrying, feeling like I just cannot put two and two together because of the way that things are going. I feel like you need to know that the outcome's going to be okay. And I do feel that there's definitely movement around you. I'm also seeing a movement that connects with going back to something, and this being a place of your past. So something to do with your past, your connections with your past. It could be going to visit someone from your past, traveling to a location from your past, and this is coming up. So there's definitely a link to the past. Again, if it's going back into some type of work situation, that may be also linked to that. But as I said, I'm trying to do very quick reads, and I'm taking longer than I expected I would take on these, but I hope that has helped you. I'm going to move on now. Who is our next in this? Renee Maria Moke. Hopefully I've got your name right. So let's have a look at Renee, who is the 9th of July. And your year is 78. So let's have a look here at your numbers. Okay, now you're also a person who is in their 5th life. Let's see what's around you this year. Bear with me for 1 second. I'll get to explaining all this in a moment. All right. Okay, so again, we have a person who is controlled by the sun. Try not to be too extravagant, because one thing that I'm actually picking up with you is that you may be a little out there at times. This might make people sort of, you know, sort of step back a bit, like, okay, where did that come from? Be aware that your birth number dictates how many lifetimes you've had here, and I'm seeing you to be in your 5th life. It's like you're in that stage of your life, that path where it's, I know what I want, but I'm not satisfied because I'm not getting things as quickly as I want them. High expectations are very common around those in their 5th life. At the same time, I feel it's like always trying to avoid a typical situation with battling with the finances, battling with people. No matter where you go, there's going to be that situation that brings about the difficult connections. It might be that you lose your temper very easy with people around you. So just keep in mind that it might be important for you to, you know that this is part of your life lesson, is to balance those hormones, if you want to put it that way. Can you believe I've got a thing saying I've got to go to bed popping up on my phone? How is that? Okay, so let's have a look here. I'm going to do a clear of your cards, Renee, and I'm sorry for those that are having so much patience with this. I'm trying to get through them as quickly as I can. Nothing is quick with me. Even my readings usually do go over time, and it throws the whole day's readings out. So what should be like a hour reading ends up sometimes being an hour and a half, 2 hours. The longest was 5 hours, can you believe it? Okay, luckily that was the last reading of the day and I had no more following that. So Renee Maria Moke, Spirit, tell me what's happening with Renee Maria Moke. I hope I'm pronouncing your name right, but Spirit will know anyway. Renee Maria Moke, the 9th of July 1978. I keep hearing a male. If you're connected with this lady, talk quick. Alright, Okay, so I'm actually getting what has been a difficult situation will be blessed. There's a message from Spirit directly. They're also showing me things easing and the connection with travel abroad. Don't get yourself into a battle with him. This is what this mail's telling me to pass on to you. So I'm going to pass it on, and hopefully the message gets to you the way it's meant to. Again, if there's any chance you can make notes of what comes through, I feel it's really important. Let me see. I'm going to do the layout. Renee Maria Moak. Goodness me, it's a mouthful. Renee Maria Moak, the 9th of July 1978. 9th of July 1978. I'm more a numbers person. Okay. I feel as though you have strength around you, but this might give you that impression that, well, you can take on anything. Sometimes when people feel strong, they tend to put themselves out. It's like if someone says something, oh, instantly they're volunteering. Up goes the hand. I'll help you. I'll do this. I'll do that. And I think it's time to disperse that. Allow others to have their input. Make them feel like they can do something. You don't feel like the challenge has to be yours, because I do feel like you're carrying a lot of responsibility around family here. And what I see is motherhood. I'm getting the connection with motherhood. The fertility sign is turning up, whether it be you or a mother figure. This is what Spirit's showing me. A lot of the responsibility. I'm seeing celebrations. Celebrations can mean many different things when it turns up in a card reading, because I have had cases where the celebration is over a person's life or a new life that's coming into play. But I do see celebrations there. I do feel like there's a lightness around your deck at the moment. I'm seeing transitions around the home, furniture moving about. You might even be looking at buying or purchasing new things for the home. I get that feeling of being comfortable. There is a male that I'm actually sensing has a very strong link with you. I don't know whether this is making sense to you at the moment. I'm not even going to play guessing games. It does or it doesn't, but there is something significant. And I feel like you're looking back through things as well. I'm seeing photographs. I'm getting a lot of different scattered photos, and sometimes this can happen when you've got one image in your mind and another one quickly replaces that. It's like playing out an effect or some type of scenario of things that have happened. I feel like you're just feeling on top of the world at the moment, to be honest with you. I get that I want to do my own thing. I don't want to listen to anyone. I've got my own goals, I've got my own ideas, and this is what I'm going to do. So if they don't like it, too bad. But that's the kind of thing that I'm actually picking up here. You might even be very generous at the moment as well, because I get a feeling of, I can afford to be generous, or I just want to help others around me. It makes me feel good helping those who are needy, helping those who, they're appreciating my help. But I'm getting that around your environment in some way. So this might even be what you're connected to in some form, be it what you do for work, helping other people, feeling good about helping people. But you're the kind of person, it's like, the way I look at you, you're the kind of personality that I would say the buck stops with you. Okay, I'm getting a connection with father. And wow, this was random. I'm seeing a male. I'm getting very stubborn, and I'm seeing healing. Something to do with the healing. I don't know who's having the tummy aches. I'm getting like this image of a I don't know whether you've seen that Operation game, and it's strange how Spirit is showing me different things, but I'm seeing the Operation game, but I keep seeing something like the light going off whenever like a pair of tweezers are going near the belly. Obviously anyone's light would go off if you had tweezers going to your belly, but this is showing me something to do with the belly. I don't know what this is to do with. I don't know whether there's an operation. I'm not saying it's an operation, but I'm saying something around the belly. I'll leave that with you. I am also getting the image of needing to have some time to oneself. I'm seeing it's like a group of people. I don't know whether this is working with a team but working independently. I wonder if this is connected with the male, because I feel like this is a person who's they don't want fussing. They just don't want any fussing. I don't know what this is to do with, Renee. I've just got to tell you what comes through, Dal. So, but anyway, overall, I'm actually seeing some very good positive things coming up for you. The path that you're on at the moment, don't be surprised if you feel as though you're walking through the fog, because it is one of those years where you're going to have like baby brain. You can't seem to see your way forward. It's confusing. You might get emotional. You have the roller coaster of the emotions going up and down. But overall, I feel that this is a time in your life which, you know, just go with the flow. Don't put too many responsibilities on yourself. It might even help you to make a list of things as well. So I'll leave that with you. Okay, let's have a look at our next person. Kylie McGow, the 14th of February. Okay, so 1987. Okay. I get a lot of tension around your family that you came from. I'm feeling like there's a lot of moods, different moods, conflicting. I'm not feeling as though there's been any type of like coming from a background that's wealthy or that type of thing. I feel like there's been struggles. I'm getting a lot of struggles, and I'm also picking up like a year before your birth. I'm being told I'm here, just missed out. I don't know what this means. I'm here, just missed out. As I was saying, a year before your birth, I feel like there's someone around who was connected with a year before your birth. This is not making sense to me. It's not going to make sense to her either then. But I'm passing it on regardless. Okay. There's a lot of hard work for you. I'm getting a lot of having to work hard for what you want this year. Don't be surprised if you also find yourself at times wanting to just quit and leave something, because I feel like the moods are changing. The way you used to feel passionate about things is definitely changing. I definitely get that feeling of I'm not interested anymore. I've had enough. I just want to move on, and I feel like it's something you've been giving a chance to, but this year it's getting to the point where you don't even feel the same way. That's quite interesting. Again, I am feeling that the controller with you is definitely the sun. You might feel that in relation to that, again, the lucky months for those who have the sun as their controller is the 1st month and the 8th month. So, oh, and I forgot to give the lucky numbers. So those who have the sun as their ruler, their controller, your lucky numbers are, okay, I'm being told no, go back. God, Okay, so what is it? They're telling me May. So you're not telling me the 1st and 8th. Alright, so they're talking about May for you, Kylie. And they're also saying Sapphire. Yep. And lucky day is Sunday. Lucky numbers 5, 14 and 23. There you go, there's your lucky numbers. I actually feel that if you connect with a person who is controlled by Mars, not Mars bars, but Mars, the planet, they're a favorable connection with you. These people would be, let me have a look here, they'd be in their 1st life or their 8th life, so they're technically either the new soul or the old soul, but they are definitely influenced by the controller of life, being Mars, and they're very favorable. The people that you would not get along with, no matter how much is tried, would be those ruled by Saturn. And these ones, if their birth date adds up to, say, a 10 or a 19, they will be at heads with you. It's like having a bit of a, you know, like no matter what, it's just you want to keep your distance from them. So I'll leave that with you. I'm going to do your cards now. Again, I'm going to just clear them. Kimmie Blackshaw. So much for very quick readings. Kimmie Blackshaw. Spirit, tell me what you need to tell Kimmie Blackshaw. 14th of February 1987. What's happening with Kimmie? Okay, so they're talking about having your wishes fulfilled. This is a good time for you, this period in your life at the moment. You might even be finding yourself considering changes, and the changes are often when you feel like you're just putting a lot of energy into something and you're not getting anywhere. This will be the time where changes will develop, and this could be around a work situation. I'm going to have a look into this a little deeper. Kimmie Blackshaw, 14th of February 1987. Alright. Now, what I actually see first and foremost, Kimmie, is a person who's trying to hold on to what they have. At times, they can be a little possessive of their belongings or people that are very close to them. It's like they don't want to let them go. They could be what I refer to as a little overzealous at times. So if you find yourself being that way around things that you consider yours, it's like not letting go, keeping them, you know, keeping the reins on very tight, then this can cause trouble. I'm seeing financial rewards coming your way, and I also feel like there is definite money gain, definite new money that's coming up, but I actually feel it's like having what you want. This is a good time for you. What's interesting is there is also a male that I'm seeing, and on the other side of this, he seems to be like in and out of the picture. He's striding in and he's striding out of the picture. I don't know whether this is someone you're having mixed emotions with, because what I see here, it's like a lot of pipe dreams. Is this going to happen? Is it not going to happen? Are they going to keep their promise? A lot of questions here, but I'm seeing people coming together within the family. I'm seeing what appears to be friends, family faces, people celebrating. There's something being celebrated that seems to be highest above you at this point, so it's very favorable. At the moment, I feel as though there is a new beginning around you, and I'm seeing people coming together. They seem to be talking on a very positive level, but what I feel here, this is interesting, I get that worry around money. This is really peculiar because I get worry around money, but at the same time I feel like, you know, I want to keep this, but I don't want to keep this. And it may be, say for example, I'll use an example here. Say you're in a job that you're there for the convenience and you want to leave, but you don't want to leave. You want them to dismiss you, so that way you walk away with a little bit extra money because of the fact they've had to let you go, but you're worried about that. So I'm getting that connection with security to some level of worry, and the security can also emanate to relationship security as well. So it's that kind of feeling of, you know, I want it but I don't, and if I have it, I want it to be them taking the initiative rather than me. So you will know what that means in some way. It's around you as the hopes and fears, so it's drawing on that. But I am seeing a positive element, especially where it's connecting to a male. I'm not seeing anything bad there. I'm not seeing anything drastic where it's like complete, you know, going wrong at all scales. I actually feel things transitioning and keeping a positive element there. In about a month, there's definitely going to be two people who are going to be having some type of event to celebrate, and this could be either the reconciliation around it, or where I see people around with smiling faces, everyone in agreement, listening to what you've got to say. I'm seeing new beginnings, new love. I'm seeing a male. He seems to have a very nice olive complexion to him. I don't know whether he works outdoors, but I'm actually feeling like there's okay, I'm hearing carpentry, so I don't know whether there's a connection with carpentry or what is to do with that. It could even be that there's going to be some carpentry done or something to do with cupboards and so on, but I'll leave that with you. So that's been your quick reading, Kylie. I hope you've enjoyed that. Let's have a look at who our next person is. Emmy Lou, 23rd of January 1969. Okay, so let's have a look at Emmy Lou. It's a nice name. Okay, 23rd of the 1st. Alright. Now with you, I feel as though you're in your 4th life, and your ruler, or I keep saying ruler, but it's your controller, is the moon. Those who are born under the influence of the moon, they okay, well, they're seldom successful in worldly matters, but I actually feel that there is that feeling of, it's like having the opposition. I get an emotional type of personality, imaginative, but you could be allowing yourself at times to become envious of others, and it's not to a degree where you are spiteful or anything like that, but I do see the moon element there. What I'm also picking up here is you're in your 4th life. I also see that with you, you might actually find yourself going through battles with more to do with health in some way. So you've got to watch your health. Something to do with the health raises its questions here over how you are coping. It might be that you've got to have a special diet. You might need to watch what you eat. as in, you know, could be weight related or that type of thing. And I'm not saying you're overweight or anything like that, because I don't know your situation. This is only what's coming through as a matter of your birth date. So I'm looking at that for the moment. I'm just going to have a look now at what this path that you're on is presenting for this year. Okay, so this year is definitely going to be one where you need to be realistic about your goals. What I see are people who have this, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, and they've got too many I'm gonna, and it ends up becoming a pipe dream, which means it's great to dream, but unless you're going to put them into action and you're going to make things work, then it's going to be just that, a pipe dream. This year you'll also be watching your money, and I feel like there's transition going on around you as well. So I am actually picking up on change. I'm feeling as though I'm wanting to try new things. So there's an experimental element there that might be suggestive of wanting to learn something, try something new. It could be a suggestion also of, well, have you tried this? And this will be introduced to you either through someone who is a professional or someone who's a very good friend who has tried some particular thing. And it could be to do with, again, going back to health. Some people go through these, you know, diet things, or these phases, different types of change, and I feel like you're going to go from one thing to something completely new. So for example, if you've been using the same type of shampoo for the last 10 years, there's going to be that type of change. It's very subtle, but it's going to make a difference anyway. So just as an example there, I do feel also that connection with having, it's like trying to sort of give people the illusion that you are coping with things when there may be other issues at hand that it's like you're not wanting others to know about. So I'm going to be a little careful of what I divulge here, if there's anything that comes through that, you know, needs a bit of tender loving care. So let's have a look at Emmy Lou. Spirit, what do you need to tell Emmy Lou? The 23rd of January 1969. Emmy Lou. Okay. Alright, so they are talking about, okay, they're talking to me about the connection with the health, doing too much, feeling run down. And they are also sharing with me there's confusion around a particular situation with a male. Reflecting on things. So I don't know whether you're holding a grudge or holding on to those feelings of, I wish I'd done things differently, I wish I had done this instead of that, because you're going to be confronted with regret in some way if you're not already. But I'm going to go past this and ask Spirit to reveal what you need to know about the path you're on at the moment. Emmy Lou, 23rd of January 1969. Okay, so the first thing I see here is relating to, of course, the security and working hard towards your goals. It's like you might even be spending more time working than worrying about other things going on in your life. But I feel like you're developing your talents, your successes in some way. You might even be wanting to invest in yourself now. So this definitely does speak to a positive era. I'm seeing August, September to be of major influence in your life, and I actually feel it's like being spiritually guided towards your career, spending like or determining what skills you need. So again, I get that feeling of improvement in some way. So there may not be a health situation there, but it's to do with improvement in some way that's going to help you through your ability with work and so on. But if you are pouring too much time and energy into work or money situations, then you might need to balance things in your life. I get a feeling of loneliness around you. And okay, this is interesting because I'm actually being told watch the car. So something about the car and needing to take medication. Okay, so I wonder if the car and the medication are connected. Be careful when driving if that's the case. What I'm also seeing here, it's like you may be recovering from things as well, but again, I'm getting all these different levels of things coming through because I know that I'm having to rush through these. It's going to sound all over the place, but bear with me. I am seeing security around you. So this might be, again, feeling like you're doing things on your own, but there is a need for you to work towards your goals. I feel like there's a lot of focus here on putting time and energy into work or earning money of some type of nature. I feel like it's really important also to be aware of who you may be avoiding. If you're avoiding people for a reason such as avoiding a person because they're going to bring up something that you don't want to talk about, it might be that you're trying to spend more time doing other things. But I feel like you're going to have to confront an issue because I'm getting there is a conflict that's in your path. You can avoid it, but I feel like it's going to be there until you confront it. Okay, now I see a male who is a parent figure, and I'm seeing support from family. This is in the environment, so there's something to do with the environment, family coming together, being supportive. It's like I've got your back kind of situation. Again, I get the positive grow on the work situation. I'm seeing you making phone calls to do with a female. This female is definitely a connection with someone who may have been either a former employee, employer, that type of thing. I'm getting connections with past people, but I'm seeing the female. And when I say past people, they're still here. They're not deceased. I'm seeing the female, getting in touch with her, and she seems to be bringing news of some kind. It may be to do with a new position or a new opening in relation to a financial issue or matter. It may even be that she's needing to pay you back for something, but I do get that connection with having, I mean, this path that you're on is definitely opening new doors for you regardless. You're going to also find there are going to be changes in friendships and relationships around you. You might even be considering taking on some new responsibilities, but just make sure that you're not rushing into things. Okay, let's move on. The next person, Bronwyn Allen. So I'm just going to have a quick look to see if there are any comments, because I'm not seeing any comments here at all, which is crazy on this phone. Okay, so someone's reacted with tears. I don't know why. Okay, so Tasha, I have never had a reading before and I feel I need to hear what Karen sees. I really do hope whatever comes through, that it does help you. Always remember that whenever something comes up, even if it's bad, because I mean, with readings you're going to have good and you're going to have bad. That's the reality of them. That's why a lot of people may avoid them, because they don't want to know. But keep in mind, I look at it like, if you knew where you'd fall, you'd put a pillow there. It's sometimes a good opportunity to reevaluate or look at your life in ways that, okay, this is what's showing is in my path. And remember, your life is in your hands. You technically own your life. If you want something bad enough, you can have it, but you've got to make sure it's for the right reasons. If you want something because it's like, I must have that, no matter what, you might even find yourself getting a white elephant. So you've got to be very careful with what you want. Sometimes what we want isn't necessarily what we need, and spirit will weed those things out, and you might think you're being hard done by, but in the long run they're saving you from, you know, something worse than what you're experiencing. Now let's have a look here at Bronwyn Allen, looking at your date of birth. Okay, so you're a new soul. You've never been here before, Bronwyn. This is your first life. One thing I love about the new souls is their innocence, but they're a little naive. I mean, up until about the mid-range of probably their fifth life, they do tend to be naive, and it's sweet in a way because they are very innocent. They do tend to, though, allow people to walk over them a little bit more than what an older soul would let. Older souls have no patience for people, whereas new souls, they're like, oh, well, you know, it's okay, I forgive you, you can hurt me again. And they go through the same thing, and it's like they become very frustrated, but they've got to understand that this is a time in their life where one of the beauties of being a new soul is they're closer to God. Not in a, you know, that you're going to die kind of thing tomorrow kind of thing. What it is with the new souls, they are pure. They're going to have a lot of angels around them helping them find their feet through life. So never feel like, you know, because you're a new soul that you're going to be classified as being stupid in any way. It's like taking baby steps. So you're going to have a lot of angelic support. You're going to have them helping you make decisions. They're going to show you things. It's like, you know, you have this, I don't know about this person, I just don't feel that I can trust this person. And this is where you have to listen to that instinct. That gut instinct is going to be far more accurate as a new soul than as an old soul, believe it or not, because the older souls tend to rationalize and fight with the thoughts that come to them, and yet the new souls are more connected with the angelic process of, you know, having angels there to help them. Look, don't worry, we'll catch you when you fall. It doesn't mean that you can go and jump off a cliff and the angels are going to swoop down and catch you before you hit the ground, but in a symbolic way, they're going to often step in before you have a fall with a person in your life. The people around you might be doing you wrong, and they will give you a lot of signs, and it's really important to pay particular attention. This is with any birth number. Always pay attention to those signs. It could be coming to you as a warning from someone who sees something that you don't. A lot of times, if you think about relationships, we are often so smitten by that person, we can't see this person for what they really are. So we're going to have people say, you know, there's something fishy about them, you know, be careful, don't rush into anything with them. And it's because they see things from a third person perspective. They're not emotionally involved to the point where they're, you know, their heads in the clouds. They see things more than what you will at that time. But I feel that with those in their first life, they fall in love very quickly. They're always looking for love. This is one thing I'll find. So let's have a look and see what comes up for you. So the path that you're born into is a new soul, which indicates first life. It also expresses that you would have been very much celebrated around your birth. I get a lot of happiness, I get a lot of celebration, people just feeling complete. It's like having completeness in some way. This year is definitely going to be one of confusion. You will find yourself feeling at a point of being questioned. You might even find people around you tend to sort of be too busy to spend time. They might have excuses. This is a year, I say, of excuses for those in their first life, especially if you are in your seventh path. Your overriding numbers also detect that there's going to be new transition that may phase people out of your life. People who have, you know, they've gone past their use by date, if you want to put it that way. Wouldn't you love it if people just came with a use by date and you could see when it would expire and you'd say, okay, well, I've got to okay, that was very nasty. Okay, so let's have a look here. And by that I'm referring to relationships, so nothing else. Let's have a look at what is happening with Bronwyn Allen. Bronwyn Allen, Spirit, is born the 19th of May 1993. If you can tell me anything apart from what comes up in the cards, I'd greatly appreciate it, as usual. Bronwyn Allen, let's see. Okay, now Bronwyn, I actually feel that there's an opportunity around you to have a situation ease. I get this moving away from one issue in your life. Now for some reason I'm also getting a connection with the law, legal matters. I'm seeing that there's change that's gone on here. To me it's like a symbolic death, an old way of life coming to an end and a new one beginning. And you're going to find okay, so I'm seeing what appears to be the male around you, and they're very proud people. They're very very smug personality, but I get needing to look at things very differently with them. Okay, I've got tapping going on around me. If you want to talk, talk, don't tap. I'm here. Okay, I just had a mail say I'm here. All right, thank you for being here, whoever you are. Your past, Bronwyn, is actually showing me you had security, but there was also movement around this, and it was from a female who appears to be divorced or separated, a very independent soul. News that brought security also brought with it the quarrels. So I don't know whether this was a quarrel or an argument of falling out with some female, but I'll leave that with you. Going to put the cards back together and ask Spirit to work through and share what message needs to be given to Bronwyn Allen, whose birth date is the 19th of April, not the April, May 1993. So 19th of the 5th, 1993. Bronwyn. Okay. So what I see with you, Bronwyn, the first thing I pick up is it's like having your faith renewed in some way, or your own talents, having the faith in your own talents, if you want to put it that way, any skills that you've got. It's like understanding things, understanding where you fit in the realm of things. I've got a hero going past in their car. I do feel like there's going to be, to me it's happiness. So I get the innocent approach here. Stop tapping. I'm also seeing May the 1st to May the 10th to be very positive for you. Don't be surprised if you also get called to help in a charitable way. It could be you getting phone calls from charities, that type of thing. But I feel like there is an opportunity for you to help in some manner with something that is going to influence or affect another person's life, but in a favorable way. Now, okay, now we're getting to a bigger picture here. I get a focus on loneliness. Now, I don't know whether you are feeling like you're all alone in the world, or all alone in circumstances, but I feel like I'm needing to detach from what's going on in my life, soul searching, that type of thing. You may be reflecting on things that have happened. I also feel like the problems that you've got going on in your life may surprise you to know that the person who you need to first acknowledge here is yourself. You seem to be how I would see a person walking in the darkness with a tiny light and trying to see the big picture. But because you've only got like a tiny light, it's not until you pan that light around you can get to see things a little bit more in detail. But at the moment, you seem to have what I refer to as the fog brain. I get the cloud. It's like the cloud of loneliness in some way. So you might be feeling like things aren't going to plan. I feel like there's things that have turned up that seem to sort of fail, but don't worry about them. Whatever happens or whatever goes belly up, know that this is giving you a new opportunity to start fresh with something. You might be fed up with things, but don't get yourself emotionally drained. Whatever this path is that it's putting for you, don't get yourself into a situation where that's it, I've had, I'm a failure, or be hard on yourself in any way. I actually see I'm getting a lot of it's like you worry a lot. I'm definitely seeing a lot of focus on worry. I feel like I've got tension around me. I feel like I'm being challenged by people and questioned, dictated to. It's like, where have you been? What have you done? Where were you on the night of, blah, blah, blah. You're almost looking for that light in your face, like you're being interrogated. But I feel like this is a time in your life where you're going to have to sort things out, and only you can do that, to be honest with you. I see you looking at things very differently. It's the way I describe the feelings going on at the moment. It's like there's that symbolic death inside. Something has definitely ended. I do feel like I keep hearing a female talking, mumbling, but I can't understand what you're saying. So you were the one tapping. There's a female around that I'm actually picking up on. So she might be trying to tell me something, but she's not talking. Okay. If you want to talk, but you got to be quick. Okay, now I'm seeing you feeling that insecurity. Be aware of your actions when it comes to relationships, I'm being told. And this is not by the female, by the way. This is by my guide. Beware of your actions when it comes to relationships, because you may smother people through your clinginess to some degree. So if you are doing that, be aware that that may be what's causing things not to go well. They are actually speaking about the healing process that is taking place in you. You will become stronger through this. There's also a male with a very friendly face coming into the picture, and he seems to be bringing with him, it's like, I would say it's like that moving in type of feeling, but don't allow yourself to get into a protective mode where it's like, this is my space, that's your space, I'm not going to open up. And I feel like you've just going through a lot at the moment. From what the cards are suggesting here, you might need a little bit of time to reflect on things and see where this has all brought you. It's like looking at the passage you've gone through. Know that everyone at some stage goes through this passage, so you're never really alone. Everyone to some degree has gone through this transition. It may not be all a bed of roses, but you've got to go through it in order to get to the next passage. And sometimes it's a very difficult transition. If you think about birth, sometimes a birth is long and arduous and painful, but then once that baby's born, everything's forgotten. And I'm not saying this is what's happening, but it's that type of rebirthing process that you're going through in your life. Difficult things at the moment are for a reason. They're there to help you to grow and to transition. So hopefully you will understand that this is a temporary thing, but it's only temporary if you let it be temporary. Otherwise, if you keep holding on to everything, it's going to be there for years and years and years. So hopefully that's made sense to you. And as I mentioned, you are actually controlled by the sun. The sun gives you the lucky numbers 5, 14 and 23. And make sure that you're wearing some blues and greys, especially in the month of May on a Sunday. These are lucky times for you. So I hope that's helped. Have a great day. I'm going to go on to my next Jodie Crossley, the 14th of August 1975. So let's have a look at Jodie's. Okay, so you're actually in your 8th life. You're an old soul. You're ruled by Mars. And people that are born under this planet, they are very strong individuals, but they may be, at times, they may appear very cold, and, you know, like giving that cold shoulder effect to people, but they're very ambitious. They get a lot of ambition. And what I also feel is that you can actually rise to a very high position, especially where work is concerned, because you've got that ability within yourself to be very passionate about what you want to do. One thing I feel you've got to be careful of is the quick temper, because you can be quite quick to temper, can't we all? But I feel that those who are controlled by the moon and Saturn are least compatible around you. It's sort of like you bring out this combustion of where everything just explodes around these people. No matter what, there is always going to be, you know, that feeling of, you know, be wary, keep your distance. I'm seeing that with you, your lucky months are March, June and December, and your lucky numbers are 3, 6, 12, 21 and 24. Best day of the week is Wednesday. And I feel like you need to ground your energies, so get yourself an agate stone, or the topaz, whichever, but I get that feeling of needing to ground the energies. The other thing that I'm seeing here is be careful of insomnia, because I get a feeling of a lot of broken sleep patterns there. So I'll leave that with you. So let's have a look. So your path. So you're in your 8th life. So those in their 8th life, as I've explained to you, in particular looking at your first name and date of birth there, that's where I get that insomnia. It'd be interesting to see if it turns up in your reading itself. So I'm going to have a look now at the path you're on at the moment. Okay, so I am getting disagreements, and I feel like there is something questionable around the finances as well. So if you are finding yourself going through a stage of where am I getting my next money, you know, it's like something to do with either stressing over the finances or worrying about the finances there. I do feel like also there's people around me, they just seem to press the right buttons. You'll know that feeling because it's around you in your path. And I do get the connection here again with you. I'm seeing changes. Cleaning out the closet is really important to allow new energy into your environment. I get a lot of cluttering for some reason, and you might even get to that point where this year you can't be bothered with some people. It's like, I'm over it. I feel like you may tend to try too hard with some people that are just not worth the trouble. So I'll leave that with you. I'm also seeing you connecting with someone who is either needing to be taken to hospital or visiting a hospital, because I'm definitely seeing the hospital sign, and I always pay attention to that if I see it, because it indicates that there is something to do with a visit to a hospital or around a hospital that is going to be required, and this is within the next 5 months. I don't even know where I got 5 months from. Okay, 5 months, because I was actually going to say 6 months, and then it's like bang, 5, Karen. Okay, so let's have a look at what appears. Gee, my computer's noisy. It's like it's working overtime with this program. Okay, I might close my word pad. And I'm going to close my, that might be what is happening. The, no, it's not making any difference. Where I record my MP3s for those that have had readings, that was open. Okay, that might calm it down a little. Alright, so I'm going to do a reading for Jodie Crossley, 14th of August 1975. Spirit, tell me what is happening with Jodie Crossley, born the 14th of August 1975. Okay, now I'm being told what was a broken heart will be turned upside down. All right, so things are about to change. Don't become your own worst enemy. They are saying that there is the opportunity of love around you. They're saying partnerships are focused on things. Be aware that applications may also be going out. So if you are looking at doing something new, it may pertain to a new job as well in the offering. But I feel like you're going to have to sort out work and relationships here. Balance the two. Bring a balance there. They're also stating you've got to be aware that you may be trying too hard to reach your goals. You've got to slow down. So I'll leave that with you. Okay, so let's have a look at what else comes through for Jody Crossley. What does Spirit need to tell Jody Crossley? All right, first and foremost, Jody, we actually have that card that I really don't like turning up in a reading. First off, it actually is the Devil card. And when I see the Devil card, it tells me this person is feeling stuck, that they it's like they can't seem to get themselves out of a situation. Usually this is around when people are either feeling stuck in a relationship they're not happy with, or a job they're not happy with. But usually it implies that when the Devil appears, he's got the Lovers chained by the neck in the card. It's the image it presents. But these chains can be lifted, but the people are using excuses to remain. So hopefully you understand the gist of that, because it is actually indicating and referencing to the fact that they can do what they want. They can go off in a different direction, but they choose to remain. They choose to let things remain the same, because they're just stuck in their ways as well. I do feel like there's a little bit of immaturity there, I have to be honest, when it comes to matters of the heart. If you're thinking of also studying, and I know this is sort of like going from one thing to the next, but this is how it is, I feel that there is an opportunity for you to do something completely new. If you're interested in doing some type of course, then do it, because I actually feel that there's new possibilities, new opportunities in doing a new type of transition to learning, studying, that type of thing. So it seems to be an opportunity that's there. It may be something that's crossing your mind, but I feel like it's an idea planted by Spirit or by your angels in particular. What I actually feel is upon you is the opportunity to move. Movement is very important this year. I feel like there's a new change taking place. I'm seeing also location. Looking at different places is really important at the moment. So choose wisely. Don't rush into anything. I feel like this may be to do with a law or a legal matter, because I'm seeing something to do with government around that. So something to do with the home and government. Okay, now what is interesting is your path shows me that what's transitioning out of your path at the moment is that it's like taking a new type of advantage of a situation. Sometimes people go through a new phase, and everything in their life goes through the change. Whatever changes have been happening, they seem to present to me an element of strife. I do get worry, but I feel like it's a determined, has to happen. It's time for things to take place. It's time for things to change. I'm seeing a signing of a contract also. I am also seeing, it's like people contacting you by phone. There's definitely communication in the air, and I'm getting phone calls, I'm getting letters, I'm speaking with people who can help in some way, and it may be to do with a legal side of things, but it doesn't have to be in before a courtroom or anything like that. But I'm definitely getting a connection with the legal. Okay, now I just took a very quick glance at the posts going up there And Christina Wallace, Karen, the broadcast keeps cutting out. I have no control over that. I can't help it. It's a Facebook thing and an internet thing. Sometimes this happens. No one can help it. But know that if it doesn't save to Facebook, I will be saving. I've got that storing, I believe, on the computer, and that will then be uploaded to YouTube, which will then be in place on Facebook. So even if it's cutting out your end, it might be an idea, refresh the page. You know, sometimes if you're actually on a phone, that can also cut out, because remember, I'm dealing with, you know, a thing that's beyond my comprehension here. I'm just dealing with the internet. Don't ask me about the internet. I can't help it cutting out. So if you don't want to hear it, go off it. That's all I can suggest, and just wait for the upload. But this is, you know, how it is. I have no control over the broadcast cutting in and out. It happens. Okay. Now, I feel like in your environment, I'm going back to Jody here. Jody, in your environment, I am actually seeing new love, and I'm also feeling a connection with, now to me, it's like one around this one. I don't know whether this is one day. I feel like there's births, news of births. Things seem to be developing in the environment. It's like a passive type of feeling, like having a passion, having something brand new developing around you and in the environment itself. You seem to be trying to budget here, but it's like other things are taking priority as well, because I'm getting like trying to budget, but it's hard when things are in slow growth. If you're thinking about finances, it's like they're in dribs and drabs. The money's in dribs and drabs, but I feel like you're wanting it to be a lot more. So don't be surprised if this may also be giving you an opportunity through spirit to either work for yourself or get some extra money through ideas that come to you, or through that learning, the opportunity of doing a course, doing something that's going to bring you okay, I'm just glancing at these little posts popping up. Yes, I will put it on YouTube, Tracy Cowling, and I will put the link. Let me just I'm going to go in, because God forbid I'm doing all this and it's not recording, so I'm just going to have a little quick look and see if we've got anything. Okay, yes, it seems to be storing in some way to the file, so that's good. Phew. Okay, so now the other thing is, you're going to find yourself having your own space and thinking about, or trying to sort out your work and relationship here, because there's definitely a need for you to balance the two things. I'm seeing you talking with someone as well about taking different days, something about days being taken, or taking days off. But there's definitely something around that. There's a change of some kind. It may be even like reducing or putting more hours into work. So I'll leave that with you, but I definitely get that feeling of okay, where are we? I see that overall your path here seems to be quite positive. What has also got me here, I don't know who has had the operation, because for some reason I'm seeing what, that doesn't necessarily have to be an operation, because I see a needle, an injection. I don't know what that's to do with. It may be the way Spirit is presenting it to me, as with whatever is going on in that person's life. It's like either to do with them as in injection health wise, but I'm not feeling more health. I'm feeling more to do with new beginnings, and it may be like a complete new start, a new opportunity to start and transition. But talking about the future plans is definitely there. Don't be surprised if this is within the next 2 weeks. You seem to be very house proud, very close to the home in some way, which is also interesting. And what I also pick up here is a person who might go a little bit overboard when it comes to the money. If you're spending more than you get, or you've got expensive tastes, then it might be a need to curb that to some degree and go back to basics. So I'm going to move on now. Spent a bit too much time on that one. Okay, Tegan Doyle, I'm going to do yours, and then I'm going to do another person's, and that'll be the last for tonight, because otherwise I'll be here forever. So let's have a look at Tegan Doyle. Okay. Alright, another old soul. You seem to... I get a connection with children around you, so I don't know whether you're in childcare, because the first thing that I'm actually seeing, Tegan, is children, young people, painting, being outdoors, indoors. It's like I'm getting that kind of theme that I would connect with a person who works around children, like as in a childcare type of environment. I don't know whether this is something you would be studying or looking into, teaching, but I feel like I've got that connection there. You may also find at times you lose interest in some of the things that you start off very passionate about. So it might be an idea to sort out what is most important to least important in your life, and you work from a list, because with you being an old soul, you tend to go full steam ahead into things. I get that, you know, they're expecting the instant gratification. I mean, who doesn't want instant gratification? But I pick up with you, Tegan, that you're going to be a little bit more impatient than other people around you, and that's only because you know what you want and you expect it. Hello, of its spirit turning up here. Sorry, not now. I get that having to I lost my focus then when they walked in. Having to work hard for things. You're not going to be born with a silver spoon in your mouth. I feel as though whatever you get in life, it's going to be, unfortunately, you have to work for it. So it's not all going to be given to you straight off the bat. Let's have a look at the path you're in this year. Okay, so there's journeys for you in store this year. I'm seeing across water, because I actually see the wing of the plane and water beneath it. So I see this to be as far as going over water, not by ship, but by plane. And I feel that this year compared to last year is a little more easier for you. Last year would have been a terrible year. I get that feeling of having like a frustrating time, not knowing where things are going for you. But I feel like this year things seem to be putting themselves into order. I get a peaceful type of feeling, almost to the point where even though I've got those visions of children and stuff like that, I get a feeling of being I know where I'm going. I know what I want. I have more of a clearer head of things. I feel like you're going to keep your head above water. Whatever is going on, whatever was stressing you is now gone out of the picture. I feel like there's new direction around you and new opportunities that are definitely making their way. Keep in mind though, there's still a residual energy that comes up around from those who have been in your past, and probably unresolved issues that were around you last year still there. If you've had a loan, if you've had some type of debt, it may be that this will be hanging around your neck in some way. A bit of a problem is what I'm picking up in relation to finances, disagreements, people at each other's throat for no reason. And I'm saying for no reason. I'm getting just bitter people around you. Just be very careful that you're not allowing yourself to become consumed by the wants and needs of others. You've got to put yourself first, definitely. Let's have a look, Tegan, at what Spirit have to tell you about your path, what's happening. So I'm clearing the cards because I don't want any of the previous information that came through. They keep showing me the separation of property and premises. Okay, whatever you say. And they're also talking about it is a good idea, they're saying, to avoid those who are trying to drag you into their problems. That's from Spirit. So if you are feeling like people are trying to get you to take sides, or they're trying to get you to say something, don't fall for it. Just keep out of it. So Spirit, tell me what's happening with Tegan Doyle and what you want to tell her. Okay. Alright, so they're saying you wear your heart on your sleeve. Don't be surprised if there is new people around you. This could be meeting new people, but I feel like it's moving from one path into a new one. I'm seeing new beginnings. I'm seeing happiness, but something changes it. It's like, I don't know whether you've already experienced this. It's sort of like that phoenix that rises from the ashes kind of effect, where things seem to burn themselves out or something goes really bad, and then it's a need to rebirth, a need to re-heal. I'm seeing a chaotic situation around a male. I'm seeing a mother and father figure, and I'm seeing the male who has dark hair, olive skin, dark eyes. He has something chaotic going on. I don't know whether this has already happened because it is around the present. I'm seeing the glimpses here. I am also getting the connection with discussing things with a female. I don't know whether this is like a team leader or someone who is like a leader of some either workplace or something to do with people. It's like she's got some control there. I'm seeing, okay, Spirit said the male has a lot of ideas, and there's also some victory, but don't trust every single word. Bit of a red flag there from what I'm seeing. Okay, Tegan Doyle, 9th of May 19. Oh, they're talking about marriage. I don't know whether you're thinking about relationship, marriage kind of thing, because they basically flew out a card that indicated the marriage symbol. So relationships seem to be the topic of the day with Tegan. Okay, Tegan Doyle, 9th of May 1992. What do you need to tell Tegan Doyle? Okay. Now they speak of taking time with things. Don't rush. Don't feel the need to rush. Having some time out. You might even either have a break at the moment or just need to take things in moderation. They do state that this is a good time for you to focus on what your desires, what you want to happen. I get a partnership or marriage developing in your immediate circle. I'm picking up November, December, so I'm seeing the 23rd of November to the 21st of December. I see positiveness around this at this point. Let's see. Okay, now I'm being shown the fertility sign. So looking at your, how old are you? Okay, so you're like 22, and I'm being shown mother being the focus here. So this is interesting because at one point I'm getting relationships, I'm getting marriage, I'm getting the possibility of love and all that developing in your social circle. But at the same time, I'm seeing the motherhood. So I don't know whether you are a young mother or there is that where I'm getting the connection with children there. I feel like I'm talking with this male. Okay, now they're showing me trying to have that faith in my decisions and my choices, and I'm seeing a spiritual side, listening to the spiritual side. Okay, I'm feeling female around this spirit. I'm not sure what their message is at the moment. They're giving me different signs to go with. They are saying that you've got to be careful of all that confusion that you've got around your environment. Put things in order. Discuss what you need to get off your chest. Be clear about what you want. If people are making you feel as though you've got obstacles in your path, or they're becoming very demanding, they may be the ones restricting you from growing. They are saying in particular your time around feeling these blockages are going to heighten between May 21st and May 31st. So you might become very frustrated with things. It's like having obstacles, and these obstacles seem to be pushing you into a different direction away from your goals. So if this is other people who are beginning to influence you to the point where you're losing your focus, make sure you steer yourself back onto the right path of where you want to go. I feel like you want to be there for everybody, but it's time to put yourself first. You are also going to be finding that this will develop into some type of scenario that creates a headbutting situation. My favorite word is headbutting because it is a way of summing up when people have disagreements with one another. I get conflict, I get struggles. I feel like there's miscommunication and misunderstandings that do turn up. So it's really important for you, especially around July, August, to be knowing what you want to do, but stick to it without allowing other people's influence to manipulate your decision making. This is a really important time for you. Between May to August this year is going to be one that tests you, especially when it comes to family, relationships, agreeing with one another. Know that you're allowed to be indifferent. You're allowed to have an opinion, but don't jump in to the point where you're not listening to what anyone else has got to say, and vice versa, because otherwise you're going to find yourself having this unrealistic breakdown of communication where you assume someone has said one thing and they're saying something completely different, and you're taking it or misconstrued it the wrong way, and vice versa. So be very clear about what you want to say. Here I am feeling like I'm all over the place, but it's really important that you understand you've got to prepare yourself, but write a list of your goals and just focus on them. Don't allow yourself to become manipulated by others and get you off your track. So that's been your reading there. Let's have a look. I think I mentioned that your controller is it's a Mars symbol. So when we look at Mars, the January and August periods are going to be most positive for you. Tuesday is your lucky day. You're also going to have these lucky numbers, which I'll give you: 1, 8, 17, 26 and 29. And what I also need to mention here is you've got to be careful of hearing. So I don't know whether you've had like earaches or things to do with the hearing, but just watch the hearing there, and don't pick up heavy things, because I get a potential hernia develop. It's like, I don't know whether you've got like a reflux or that type of thing. It's like a hiatal hernia, where it is at the top of the gut. A hernia develops and causes acid reflux. You really do have to take care of your health. This is number one. The other thing that I see here is a lot of travel in your path, but don't be over ambitious. Be realistic with your ambitions. Another thing Spirit is saying is they're very outspoken and headstrong people. So this is probably where you might misunderstand what someone's saying, because you might be talking over each other. So I'll leave that with you. Now our lucky last for the night: Amanda Slattery Nozensky. Crikey, that's a long name. 5th of July 1959. All right, so let's have a look at Amanda. Amanda, 5th of July 1959. Okay, one year difference. How's that? Okay, so let's have a look here. Oh, the old soul, definitely the old soul. So I'm seeing you're going to experience, Amanda, a lot of people in and out of your life. It is a big transition. I mean, through your whole life there's going to be and I have to put it this way, there's going to be endings, but it's going to give you an opportunity to bring new energy into your life. You're one of these spirit paths that have come to, I mean, every person has up to 9 lives, just like a cat, if you want to put it that way. And then once we have completed our 9th life, we then become higher spirit energies, which means we are there as guides for others. Your path in this life, if you have not learned what you were meant to learn in your 1st, 2nd, 3rd, etc. life, it will roll over into this one. And sometimes it can bring with it a torrential effect, where the person is actually experiencing everything under the sun in one lifetime, because of the fact that they have not experienced or have not accepted a learning process from a previous life. Now, you may not believe in reincarnation, but I will, as I said, I'll talk about reincarnation after this. Your path is your 9th, which means you are in your 9th life this year. This lifetime, I should say, not this year. Let's have a look at the path you're on this year. All right, so what I'm being shown here is the focus on health. you will be healing from something as well. You might need to take rest. You might need to have some time out. Be watchful of your legs in particular, the lower part of your body, more towards legs, feet, that area. Just take it easy. Watch where you walk, because you're prone to fall, or tripping over things or stepping on things. Be careful where you put your feet this year. I'm also picking up renovation work, so I don't know whether you're changing things in your environment or seeking to, but this is a year that I feel is very favorable in relation to having things done around your home, transitions, changes, doing things up, fixing things. You might even experience like it's one thing after another beginning to break around you. This is usually the case in the path that you're on. The other thing I'm actually picking up here is a connection with cemeteries, and I do see that through that there may be also the invitation to attend someone's relative or loved one's passing over celebration, if you want to put it that way. And I know it sounds probably morbid to refer to it as a celebration, but it is. It's a celebration of someone's life, and through that we are reminded of what a, you know, what an impact that person made to so many people in that room, in that life. The things that they did that maybe, you know, others didn't even know about, that they didn't, you know, they didn't brag about, that type of thing. But I do get the connection in some way, a link to holy ground, holy locations. And I'm not saying you're going there as in personally, but I do get that connection and that link. So it's a very spiritual year for you. Don't be surprised also if this is going to be a time in your life where you'll want to have a time to sort of focus on what you want, putting things or ideas down to paper, writing messages to people, expressing the emotions. This is a time that will become highly charged around you, and at the same time I get that influence of feeling emotionally blocked, feeling like it's a lot of worry. I get restless worry around that. Now I'm going to have a look at what comes up in your cards. Okay, Amanda, Slattery, cutting your losses and walking away. This is one thing that's turning up straight away. Right, avoiding the confrontation. Good, but maybe it's better to face it so that way you can resolve it and put it to rest. Amanda, Slattery, Nazensky, what do you need to tell me, Spirit, about Amanda, Slattery, Nazensky? Okay, so they are connecting with regrets, wishing you'd done things differently, and this seems to portray around a male. I'm also seeing here the connection with, again, the property. The property, I'm seeing victory, but through something written, something is discovered. I'll leave that with you. Amanda, Slattery, Nazensky. Amanda, Slattery, Nazensky. I'm seeing an old photo in my mind being presented. It's showing me a black and white, so this is an old photo. It looks like one corner is crinkled or folded, and folded flattened out. and it appears to be a man standing beside a chair where a woman is seated. I don't know if this is something you're going to come across, but I feel like there's writing on the back, and it's a very thick kind of photo, not like on the normal photo paper that we have these days. This is almost like a cardboard type of texture to it. Amanda Slattery-Nazensky. I'm hearing what sounds like knitting needles. Someone clicking with knitting needles, that kind of sound. All right. Now, first of all, I actually feel you're going to be getting some advice from a male. This is a professional male. He may be a doctor, lawyer, or solicitor type. I feel like this person is going to give you some guidance. He seems to be offering help that sets your plans in motions. This may have already occurred, but it may be also how you're feeling about things, because I feel like there is, you know, you've got this leadership quality within you, but at the same time, I feel like there's a need to take control or set boundaries. And this seems to be around commitments or commitments to your goals. I'm seeing a group of people. To me, it's like a group of people who work together, and I see discussion. I feel like I'm needing to discuss plans or put things into action. It's like a teamwork environment. I get expansion, so this may be connected to the extension or property and premises, that type of thing. But I also feel like people helping reach goals, helping connect with goals. You can't just do it on your own, is what I'm actually being shown here. Now, I'm also picking up in about 2 days' time, either through letter, telephone call, not so much letter, most people don't write letters these days, but I'm seeing there's been something where it brings people together, some type of connection. Now, you don't have to be face to face to have this, but it's making some peace. Some type of peace is being offered as a result of this. It could be putting some disagreements aside, focusing on a union between two people. I feel there's a relationship. It seems to bring with it rewards, but there has to be that putting the differences aside. This is going to be also influencing around June, July, the 21st of June to July the 1st. I am also seeing news coming that's going to be making an appointment for you in some way. So I'll leave that with you. Now, let's have a look. They're showing me you're not sleeping well, that you've got a lot of things on your mind, you're worrying. I don't know whether you're restless, because I'm feeling like I'm feeling restless, I'm feeling edgy, I'm not sure what I'm doing. It's like a depression. Okay. If you are depressed, I actually feel that whatever you're going through, it's going to be lifted, but you need to get your rest. You've got broken sleep patterns. Your patterns are all over the place. I'm also being told you sit up really late when you should be asleep. And they're saying that the period of influence is going to last up until about June the 10th if you're not careful. Your environment does show me, though, that you've got the sun there. This is a positive sign. It actually indicates an opportunity of having a lot of happiness, having joy, having the it's like being proactive, being part of something that's working. I feel that there may be also new friendships there, a focus on being content and striving towards goals and success, and this is in your environment in some way. I'm seeing a lot to do with phone calls going on now, so I don't know what this is all to do with, but you are a talented person. You might even need to rely on some of your skill and your own knowledge, and it's like you know how to do a job well that no one else knows how to do it the way you do, so you seem to be indispensable to some degree. And I also feel like you place this same type of influence in relationships around you. It's like if, for example, with kids, without me they wouldn't be able to do this, or without my help they wouldn't be able to get, you know, what they have, type of thing. You seem to put yourself out, and I get worry around you as well. It's like having people coming together. You're worrying, there goes another hero. You're worrying for some reason in relation to a male. I also get emotional worry. It's quite odd that I'm picking that up. Now, focus on the motherhood is definitely there. I'm not too sure whether both parents are on the other side, because as I'm talking, and I'm not saying this is for you, Amanda, because as I say, unless they say to me who they are, all I'm getting at the moment is a lot of chatter around me from different spirits that are stepping in, and they may be waiting for me to finish so they can ask me, you know, help them with whatever. But I'm getting a male and female coming through together, and as I'm doing this reading, I get that feeling of I feel a positiveness around them. I'm not feeling like they're bad people or anything like that. Otherwise you'd be hearing me telling people to go. But I get this feeling of making some peace with someone who is close. This might even be like a sibling in some way, or someone that you see as like a brother or sister. But I'm feeling as though there's that parental kind of, you know, when a person says just make peace with them. You need to do this for your own sanity. You need to do this for yourself. This may be something that's coming. So if this isn't already there, it may be something that's coming. But I need to pass this on regardless. They are quite old. I'm going to be honest with you. These people are older. So I'm not feeling like they are, you know, in their 60s or anything like that. I actually feel like almost near 70s, probably because of their wisdom or their understanding. But they've come in together even though they stand apart. So I will leave that with you. Now, looking at, I think I've mentioned here, you're ruled by Mars. Yes, so definitely watch for, you know, lifting heavy things and watching you don't trip over things. So that has been your reading. And I'll tell you what I'll do, just one last more. There you go. New English from Karen. I'll do one more and then we'll call it a night. So last is Mari Ni. Oh my goodness. I'll just go in here with looking at the date. So the 6th of the 4th. Actually, this number looks very familiar, vaguely familiar. I have a feeling I've done this reading tonight. I'm going to have a look at the... Okay. I do have a Mary. Let me check that on my server, because if I've done your reading already, then I can't do it again. You've got to understand there's a 3-month gap. Mary. Okay. See, once I do them, I don't keep the information. It's gone through to the server already, so I assume it's been delivered. Bear with me for one moment, please. I have done that. Okay, so sorry, I cannot do it again. Okay, so the next one is Erin Clark. And this will be the last one for tonight. So Erin Clark. Sorry about that, Mary. I saw the date of birth and recognized it, and I've done your reading. So I can't redo it. Otherwise, I'm going to get a continuation of where the last one left off. Okay, so we're looking at Erin, who was born the 28th of February. 28th of February 1976. Okay, so you're in your 8th life. So again, you're an old soul, and you also are ruled by Mars. So again, with Mars, you would be connected here with Tuesday being your lucky day, the 1st and 8th month being a lucky month for you. Lucky numbers 1, 8, 17, 26 and 29. And you're also actually, I get the feeling with you, Erin, I need to be looking at bringing balance into your life. So get yourself a jasper stone. You can pick them up from any metaphysics shop. Now let's have a look at the path you're on at the moment. This plays a major influence in events happening around you, 7. Okay. Now with you, I actually see the need to work on sorting things out this year. I definitely get the image of a person who is needing to control the overspending. This is a year where you have to watch your money. Don't overspend, because next year's going to be a bit of a hard time. And this is being honest with you. I'm getting that feeling of watching where the money goes, not getting yourself in debt, because next year's going to be a big transition. You may even find yourself going from what you know as a secure place as work is concerned into something completely different, or having patchy moments of money. Next year's also going to be bringing with it, it's like definite situations where people tend to be a little bit overzealous and controlling. So I'll leave that with you, Erin. I'm going to clear the cards now so I don't have any previous influence coming up in your reading from someone else's. And I'm going to now shuffle and ask Spirit, tell me what's happening with Erin Clark. His birth date is the 28th of February 1976. 28th of February 1976. All right. Now, Spirit are telling me that you seem to be having your own share of issues of being stuck. They are talking about things changing. You may be even finding yourself having to become very independent, relying on your own decisions and doing your own thing, because I get a feeling of you've carried the burden. I feel like there is, to me, it's like you've always had to, from what this is showing me, fight for your rights in some way, or to be heard and not have people dictate to you. I feel like there is a male. This person seems to be like a partner, lover, husband image. I see them close around you in some form, but there's insecurities. This may be that you're being your own worst enemy and putting too many demands there as far as a relationship goes. I see security is also going to be assessed in relation to this. I feel like I've got a lot of flags going up around you. These flags may be little warning signs, but I do get the connection with also not allowing yourself to become emotionally vulnerable at this time. Now let's have a look at what comes through. Erin Clark, the 28th of February 1976. Erin Clark. Okay. First thing that turns up is what I see as the father element. And when I get that kind of imagery, it talks about a man who is very strong, very determined, and I know this isn't you, but you may take on some of his characteristics. I feel like there's someone in authority. They seem to offer help to you. I'm being told, be careful of becoming overly dependent. You might actually experience this help. It's like a helping hand, and it's from a male that I'm picking up. He's very dogmatic, very knowledgeable, older, mature, set in his ways, but there is advice that is being offered as a result of this person stepping in the picture, and he seems very authoritative. That's what I get. So to me, sometimes this can be a male influence in your life who is stable, but they seem to be very determined to put you on the right path, if that makes sense. They are speaking of challenges. The challenges seem to be with people around you, family challenges that seem to be part of this debate or some type of issue going on. They speak of conflict, but encouraging, if I should say that. They're encouraging you to be positive in the fact you'll get over this. You will jump this hurdle, is the message that's coming through. They say, do not feel that you've got to always be on the defense, because this is around people in your immediate circle, such as family. You might not be aware that you actually have this strength within you, but you've got to, for some reason, you've got to deal with these conflicts. It's like ongoing, feeling like they're coming at every direction. I feel like there are things that are going to ease. There is an opportunity to get away for a while. This may present itself through an invitation, or you might decide to just, go on a little holiday. There are challenges there, but I do feel like this is a change that you bring into your life, and it's for the better. So whatever challenges you've been facing will put in effect a new path. And you might even be, I get a child around this, so I don't know whether there's going away with a child or a connection with a child there, but it's like escaping momentarily. Okay, now whatever has been has ended. It is no more. There's changes, and there's also going to be young people that create that territorial battle around you. Timing in about 8 weeks. There will be discoveries also. They're saying that through this passage you'll find new beginnings that happen in your life. You're also going to be linked with 2 younger females in some way. To me, they're like chalk and cheese personalities. What I see here is a union that comes up, and to me this is like 2 people either living together as a married couple, being married, that type of focus. There is something that is going to be partnering and molding itself into your future, because what has happened has now gone. It's offering new benefits, new opportunities to make a new path for yourself, and this seems to be coming through a lot of spiritual intervention here. You'll also need to sort things out with regards to relationships as well. Don't bog yourself down with too many work commitments or financial commitments. If you are stressing over money and then you're stressing over relationships or people around you, you've got to bring a balance of harmony. They are saying you're going to have an opportunity to travel. They are also speaking of, I see N and Z, so I don't know whether this is New Zealand or something like that, but they're showing me the N and the Z. So either it's a name, which sounds like New Zealand, but I'm seeing initials N and Z, so I'll leave that with you. It may be also indicating that's the direction I feel travel, but things will ease. Just keep your eyes open and your ears peeled, because there's, or is it the other way around? Keep your ears open and your eyes peeled, because there's also going to be some discoveries that somebody has tried getting away with something, and they seem to be very cunning. I'm getting ego around it, so I don't even know where this is fitting in here. I'm not even going to try to make it fit. I'm just giving you as it comes. Don't jump to conclusions though, I need to mention. I'm being told by someone here who is presenting themselves as a male. Don't jump to conclusions. So I'll leave that with you. Well, that has been your reading, and this is where I close the readings off for tonight. I thank everyone who entered. It was fun. It was a new opportunity of using this method, so you can actually see that it's randomly picked. It's not something where I'm going in and with all the 153 entries selecting which ones I feel I want to read. I don't work like that anyway. This is all, whatever this computer spits out, that's who I did the reading for. I think it's really important to know that from what I picked up tonight, there's a lot of people who are going through some great transitions in their life at the moment, and one of the things that seem to be making those transitions hardest is the fact that there's a lot of worry about the future, about what's in store, what's going to happen, what's going to happen next in my life, and a lot of panic. I wouldn't say panic, that's extreme, but I feel like this interferes with people's sleep pattern. So hopefully you will understand that whatever is coming through in the reading, I don't look at readings as a form of entertainment, sorry. I actually look at them as a form of advising and giving you the power to put in your hands and how to deal with circumstances that are in your path. Anyone who says they're just purely for entertainment, that's their escape from being responsible of what comes through the reading. So whatever comes through the reading, I will deliver, regardless of how good or bad it is. I'm not going to sugarcoat, because that's what's coming through, and it's there for a reason. I always state before I do readings anyway to Spirit, I don't want to know every single personal detail about this person. I don't want to know if there's someone, even when I'm doing any full reading and the Spirit comes through, I don't want to know how they died. I don't want to know all that messy detail behind things. I just want to be passing the message on and then letting it go, because I have to keep myself separate from the actual reading itself. So the less that is very personal, I mean, it's good to bring up personal things because people sometimes need more validation, but you can't force it. If it comes through, it comes through. If it doesn't, it doesn't. The other thing is, I was going to talk about reincarnation, and the pattern of reincarnation is quite simple. Basically, as a person leaves this world, a new soul is coming into this world. So it may be like a new soul of a baby being born. So as that baby is coming into the womb to be part of that soul of the newborn, it may cross paths with a soul that is leaving, which means that a very small portion of that energy connects with that youth, connects with that baby. That's why you'll find a lot of babies will talk about, their other family or their other home and stuff like that. But then as they grow up, they forget about it, because the majority of that new soul takes over. It's sort of like outgrows that portion that it collected of that other soul. So eventually that then disperses and goes back. So it is an element of the past life which makes up that person. And if that soul that has left this world has had that, say it's had other souls that have, as it reconnects, so to speak, a portion of that soul may have a connection with previous lives that have connected with it when it's been coming through to be born into that baby. It will then carry on a separate life. It will carry a separate element. That's why some babies, that they might have a due date or at a certain time, may be premature, may be overdue, because of the influence of that soul crossing as well, the influence of the connection, and having that that soul that has left this world having a portion of that being a part of it. So it affects the timing and the day of the birth. Some that are new souls, or those that are, they've already got like an old path of souls within them, they will probably be right on time. So that gives you a bit of an understanding about that. But I'll go into all that information later on. I might even try and do a diagram, like draw my life kind of thing, to give people an idea of how Spirit has described that. It's very interesting. But I used to think, if you were reincarnated, you were completely reincarnated. So I asked Spirit, how that process works, and they laughed at me, saying, "You're completely wrong." Okay, so tell me, explain to me like I'm a 3-year-old. And they did. They explained it, and I thought, wow, this is, something I've got to get my head around. But it really does make a lot of sense. So I hope that those of you who have been selected through this computer auto name pick thing tonight has had a good time, taken away from it important information, food for thought, discussion, probably a way of arming yourself and preparing yourself for new beginnings and new opportunities. And those that didn't, my apologies, but do make sure that you know, you keep a watch on the page. Don't abandon us, because I will hold these again. I may even use the names that have come through, just remove the ones that I've already read, and go in a process of, you know, say the next couple of weeks or whatever, using the leftover names with their date of births as a way of doing a quick read if I've got time to spare. So if you like that idea, give me a thumbs up and let me know, yes, I like that idea. If I didn't get to have a reading, then I have an opportunity of being a potential of having a quick read in the future. So if you like that, just let me know and we'll go from there. So have a great night, everyone. It is now 11:15 at night, and it's been fun. So take care.